Hi, my name is Andrew, and growing up, I loved spending time with my father. It was the main reason that I wanted to become a father when I got married. I wanted to be that dad that my children would run and brag about to their friends, the one that told the best stories and played fun games. So, when my fiancée told me that she was pregnant, well, I couldn't have been any happier. We had planned to have children after the wedding ceremony, so it wasn't exactly ideal, but I didn't care. My goal was to be there for my wife, but my job would often take me away from home for long periods of time. I work as a truck driver, and in any given week, I could be home for 2, maybe 3 days. My wife Annie was incredibly supportive. She knew that I was working long hours and making good money, and that when I was home, that I would make the most of our time together. When I was home, I made sure that I did all the cooking and helped tidy up. But when I was away, even though it was for a good reason, I always felt guilty, like I could be doing more. But my wife always just smiled and told me that she appreciated what I was doing. And so, that's how things went for a few years. The times when I was home were magical. I got to play with my son, and although I wasn't always there for the milestones, my wife would always send me updates, such as videos or pictures. Like when he learned to walk, or when he said his first word. My heart ached when I saw those videos, knowing that I wasn't there in person to witness them. But I also knew that I was making good money and providing for them so that they could live good lives. For me, it was very important that they never had to go without anything. However, as I was lost in thought, my wife came up to me with a wide grin on her face.
Honey, I have some very big news to share with you.
You do? And what is it, my love?
Well, I know that we didn't discuss any plans to do so, but, well, I'm pregnant.
I was shocked. I had just started to contemplate having a second child, and now my wife had given me wonderful news. It was like she had read my mind. Oh, Annie, that's great. This is unexpected, but I'm so happy. I can't wait to meet the latest addition to our family. Once again, though I needed to work, and Annie did her best to take care of our son, while also struggling with her pregnancy. One day, I got a phone call from Annie saying that she had to go to the hospital as she had tripped over some of our son's toys and had almost broken her leg. She had lain on the floor for hours struggling to get up as she didn't have her cell phone. Honey, I'm worried about you. What if you fell again and there wasn't anyone around to help you?
It won't happen again, Andrew. I'm fine, and you don't need to worry about me. You have enough to think about when you're making your deliveries.
I knew that she was being brave and didn't want to admit that she needed any kind of help. And so I bought a nanny cam and left it in our son's room. On the outside, it looked just like a normal teddy bear, but it had a camera with a live feed that I could use my phone to watch with. That way, if I would ever call or text her and didn't get an answer, I could check in on her and make sure that she was okay and safe. It was an invasion of privacy, but it would give me some peace of mind, and I promised myself that I wouldn't always check it. That I would only ever turn it on if I couldn't get a hold of her through texting or calling. Thankfully, I never had to use it, as she never fell again, but 7 months later, our second son was born. I was so scared, as I had never seen a premature baby that survived being born at only 7 months. As soon as I got home, I rushed to the hospital and was taken aback by the sight of a beautiful and happy baby. For being born premature, you wouldn't have been able to tell. He looked quite healthy and energetic, actually. I was so confused and yet relieved at the same time. Oh, honey, I was so worried, but now that I see him and you, I'm so relieved. When you said that he was premature, I was expecting him to be tiny and needing around-the-clock medical care, but he looks perfect.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we are really lucky.
Thank you, hun. I'm so happy that our family has grown by one more member.
Yeah, me too.
I was so excited holding my newborn son. Seeing him happy and healthy filled me with joy. To help my wife recover, I took a few weeks off work so that she could rest. Sadly, though, my time off ended, and I had to go back to work driving. Except I couldn't take not being able to see my new son, so I moved the teddy bear nanny cam into the nursery so that I could see him while I was on the road. The day I left, it was so incredibly hard to leave my family behind. I checked the camera once every hour to see my sleeping son, until I turned it on and saw something that I wasn't meant to see. Standing in the nursery was my wife and some man that I didn't recognize.
And here he is, John. Your new son, isn't he adorable?
Yes, he's so precious. Did your stupid husband suspect anything?
Him? No, that man is a complete loser. If he didn't make good money, I would have kicked him to the curb a long time ago.
Honestly, I can't imagine how he hasn't clued in. Aw, well, we get to have our fun and he pays the bills. It's a perfect arrangement. I couldn't believe it. If what they were saying was true, then my sons might not even be mine. In a panic, I called my boss and told him that I needed to cut my run early. Once I explained why, he completely understood and told me to take a few days to sort things out. I drove as quickly as I could home and snuck into the house while my wife was asleep. Carefully, I took some hair from both of my sons and took them to a lab the next day. I only had to wait a day for the results. According to the paternity test, neither of my sons were my own. I could barely breathe. Angry, I took the results to my lawyer and filed for divorce. I had no doubt that seeing the divorce papers threw my wife for a loop, but I didn't care. She had betrayed my trust in the worst way possible. On top of that, I did a little research into the man that she was cheating on me with and found out that he was married as well. And so I contacted his wife and let her know what he had been up to. I didn't know what else to do. On the one hand, my sons weren't my biological children, but on the other, I was still their father, and I had helped raise them from when they were born. I asked my lawyer, and he told me that I could file for full custody of them. Even though I wasn't their biological father, I didn't care. I still loved them and wanted to be their father more than anything. Plus, the fact that I was their sole provider meant that I had the right to have full custody. Weeks later, my wife and I were in court pleading our cases to a judge. Thankfully, the evidence that I had found, coupled with the fact that my wife had been cheating on me with John for multiple years, made the judge very sympathetic to me. He saw no reason to let her have custody due to her cheating, as that it made her an unfit parent. However, I had to promise that I would find a job that didn't require me to be away from home so much. After all, there wasn't a thing in this world that I wouldn't do for my boys. The judge also awarded me the house, but since my wife didn't have a job, he denied me alimony, which I honestly was okay with. Once I told my boss what the judge had decided, he offered me an office job. He had always found me to be an excellent employee, and he felt sympathy for what I was going through. It would be quite an adjustment, but my new job had better hours and came with a raise as well. As if that wasn't amazing enough, my new job was completely remote, which meant that I could work from home. Upon hearing that, the judge was pleased and granted me full custody. My wife, however, was forced to move out and took a job as a maid for a hotel. Even though the judge didn't order me to, I do let her see the boys every other weekend. She doesn't talk much about her new life, but she looks stressed out and is always exhausted, so I can't imagine that she's having an easy time. As for the man she cheated with, his wife called me shortly after my divorce was finalized, and she let me know that she had divorced him as well, and that he had to pay her a large sum of alimony and that she suspected that he now lives on the streets. Personally, I do feel bad for him, but only a little. After all, he didn't care that his actions would hurt my family and his own, and had betrayed his wife, and had my wife betray me for many years. If you ask me, both he and my wife got off easy. Thanks for watching. Please like the video so it can be recommended to many others.